Don't really understand the new Robocop trailer. Not that much, no. I'm gonna try to make this short and sweet, but there are two things that I immediately thought of when I saw the new Robocop trailer. The first was an old Simpsons parody of Robocop. Yes, the Simpsons have done everything. So Homer is on the couch watching TV, and a RoboCop parody called The Cyborganizer comes on. And the Cyborganizer is RoboCop if he had a desk job, basically, and he's doing his typical. He's almost making fun of Ally McBeal. He's doing his typical office job desk thing, and I guess Marge comes in and she's trying to talk to Homer, but Homer wants to divert his attention to the TV because he really likes the Cyborganizer TV show and he wants to watch it before they retool it. The networks get to it, and the instant he turns away and turns back, the Cyborganizer now has a kid. And Homer sees this and he slumps in his seat and he says, "Oh, too late." And that's exactly what I thought of when I saw the clip in the Robocop trailer where the woman is bending down and saying, "Why don't you talk to your son?" or whatever she said. So that kind of made me laugh, and how ridiculous I thought that was. That the police or whatever authority that stepped in and said okay to turning him into a machine, they decided to not wipe his memory or not hide his identity, but keep him as a regular person within his own home. How did they expect that was going to go over? I don't even know. So I was thinking about that, and then I was thinking about this new angle of free will that they're trying to address. And let me tell you something. The human brain in a machine, okay, all it takes is an electrical impulse for the human brain to move, say, an appendage. If you could supposedly in the future pinpoint the exact location of where to send the electrical impulse to the brain, you could, in theory, make somebody do something they didn't want to do. But Robocop is half machine and half person. I don't know exactly how much, but I'm guessing that it's just his head now. That's what the impression I was getting from the trailer, that the only part of him that was still human was his head. And that kind of becomes a conflict because there's no reason that the machine, or more accurately, the artificial intelligence that's running this machine, I guess, in cahoots with the human brain, would actually go through the human brain to tell the rest of the robot what to do. And the scientists here who have made Robocop, I don't know why they would employ the idea of a man in a machine just to have the machine make all the decisions. Because the decision making is the sole reason you'd want a man in a machine in the first place. And a good example of this is in I, Robot with Will Smith. So Will Smith, it is established that a robot saved Will Smith's life in the past, and it did this during a car accident in which Smith and a small girl were thrown into a body of water, and the robot deemed that because Smith was either closer to the surface or because he was a more capable and sturdy adult male as opposed to a small child, that he had a higher probability rate of surviving the accident. So the robot saves Will Smith, which makes sense, but on the other hand, these are the reasons why you would want a human brain in a robot as a cop, because he can make these kinds of ethical, moral decisions that a robot would default to the probability and clear-cut black and white. So that makes sense. But now scientists want to control the human part by giving Robocop the illusion of free will. So in other words, Robocop is doing something that he thinks he's doing on his own, but is actually controlled and or dictated by the scientists, which basically makes Robocop a robot. So the question here is, now that you've attacked this angle of free will, and you've stated that scientists are toying with his free will by telling him what to do while making him thinking it's what he wants to do, what is the point of that? That just means, you know what it's called when you give something the illusion of free will, but you're actually controlling it? Do you know what that's called? That's called a robot. There's no controversy here. There's nothing. There's no questions. What are we supposed to question? That Robocop is being mistreated or something? He's nothing but a head, a brain in a robot suit. What? And he's already been made into a robot cop. Well, what is? There's nothing left to debate here. He's a robot. That's it. That's the end. I don't know exactly the angle they're gonna bring it up here. I mean, in the words of Dave Barry, step up and receive your certificate of redundancy certificate. I can get what they're trying to do in the scheme of things, because it's just a simple film and not some kind of deep delving documentary meant to expose something, but this is just sloppy. It's like they're trying to make, the scientists are in a room trying to say, this is Robocop is being launched, according to the president in the trailer, as the next level of law and order. They've already established that it's not about him as a human being, it's about law and order progressing. So we've already overstepped Robocop as a person, and we've made him a weapon. We've made him a tool, so to speak. And now they're questioning the illusion of free will. Why? Why? Who's questioning this? The only person who should be questioning this is Robocop, I guess, but he's being controlled by scientists, and that's the end. And they close by saying that, oh no, he's overriding our controls or something. So at the end of the day, I'm wondering, if you have a weapon, a tool that you want to control, that you are already controlling essentially, why even have the human in there? There's no point to having why open yourself up to the idea that the human might take control? You see, there's no reason for Robocop to be half human.